A determined blonde warrior sprints through the rain toward a glowing red crystal, her sword at the ready. A scratch on her face reveals her fierce resolve as she grips her shining blade tightly. Suddenly, her green eye widens in shock. A gasp catches in her throat. Before her stands a monstrous, winged insectoid creature fiercely guarding the crystal on its pedestal. A smaller winged beast joins a larger one, both advancing with menacing red eyes and sharp claws. She bravely clashes her sword against the creature's attack, a grunt of effort escaping her lips. The monster strikes, slashing across her midsection, and she recoils in pain. Blood streams from her mouth and a cut near her eye as she lets out a choked cry of agony. Lying wounded and defeated, the warrior is encircled by the victorious insectoid monsters. In a pool of her own blood, she whispers faintly, "Sorry, big brother." A memory surfaces of a young man with kind red eyes saying, "Nana, I'll be waiting." The monstrous insectoid lets out a deafening roar, its gaping maw filled with needle-like teeth, transitioning to a sprawling, sunlit cityscape. A somber thought crosses her mind. I don't think I can keep that promise. Meanwhile, a white-haired young man with striking red eyes strolls through a busy street, carrying grocery bags. A voice calls out, "Rue," causing him to glance back. 3 men greet Rue, one noting the large amount of groceries, and asking if Nana is returning today. Rue confirms that she mentioned finishing her A-rank dungeon expedition. Another man, identified as D-rank explorer Kuji Shimura, inquires if Rue is also dungeon-bound and about his health. Rue responds positively, saying he's much better now. Kuji bids farewell, saying he'll visit for a meal later, to which Rue pleasantly agrees, "Sure, I'll be waiting." As Rue departs, the remaining 2 men grumble about risking their lives while he feasts like a king, attributing his fortune to having a sister in the 7 stars. The screen displays the insignia of the 7 stars, the top organization in Urim. One man corrects his companion, stating, "Nana began in the slums and nearly starved until Rue saved her, though the other still grumbles about their own hunger." A flashback shows a young Rue, who survived by scavenging, offering a piece of bread to a small, destitute Nana. The first man concedes a point while the other insists Rue is just a freeloader, justifying their complaints. Their cynical thoughts drift over a cityscape, speculating that if Nana dies, Rue will return to poverty. Transitioning back to Rue, he carefully selects fresh vegetables from a grocery bag and places them on his kitchen table, letting out a soft sigh in the sunlit room. He glances at the clock, realizing he went far for fresh ingredients and is now behind schedule for dinner. With focused precision, he begins slicing an eggplant on a wooden cutting board and skillfully stir-fries the ingredients in a wok over a hot stove. With a satisfied smile, Rue, in an apron, announces, "Done!" as several beautifully plated dishes sit on the table before him. He then glances at his phone, a slight frown appearing as he murmurs, "But she's late." The phone's lock screen displays a cheerful photo of him and Nana, showing the time as 7:02, prompting him to wonder, overtime again? Later, the kitchen is dim, and Rue is slumped over the table, the elaborate meal untouched. His phone suddenly lights up the darkened room with an unknown caller notification at 10:03 p.m., rousing him from his dejected state. Answering with a simple hello, he listens as the caller identifies themselves as part of the Explorers Association. They ask if he is related to Nana, the shining light of the 7 stars, to which he confirms. That's right. His red eye widens in horror as the voice delivers the grim news. "I'm sorry to inform you, but she was killed in an S-rank dungeon by a monster. Her death was confirmed 2 hours ago." Staggering back in shock, Rue exclaims, "What? No!" He knocks a plate of food off the table. It shatters on the floor as the caller continues. "We just wanted to inform her family. However, if the word gets out that a 7-star has died, it will cause serious trouble. So please keep this confidential for now." Rue stands frozen, absorbing the association's final words. "We'll send compensation and benefits within a month. Please contact us if you have questions. Goodbye." As the call abruptly ends, Rue sits in stunned silence, the phone clattering to the floor as he utters Nana's name. The devastating question, "She's dead?" hangs in the air, echoing his disbelief. A poignant memory surfaces of a small Nana asking, Can I start calling you Big Brother now? To which he had replied, Of course. Another cherished flashback shows a radiant Nana in a sunlit field joyfully calling out, Big Brother? He recalls her, bandaged and fierce, asking, Are you hurt again? And declaring, They said bad things about you. A vision of Nana, resolute and strong, assures him, I'll be back soon, Big Brother. He remembers her leaning in while he cooked, requesting, So make something nice and wait for me. And his gentle response, Got it, so be careful. Her confident words from before her departure echo, It's just an A-rank dungeon this time. So don't worry. A sudden realization dawns on Rue with alarm. Nana said A-rank, but the caller said S-rank. Tex explains the association's special investigation program for S-rank or higher dungeons. Gazing at a framed photo of them, he processes that the association's direct contact, especially concerning a 7-star, meant they bypassed their usual investigative procedures. He questions how they could have known the details of an S-class dungeon incident in just 2 hours, or if there was another possibility. A steely glint appears in his crimson eyes as a thought begins to form. His gaze falls upon the cherished photograph of him and Nana, a silent testament to their bond. 5 days later, the imposing structure of the Explorers Association looms under a clear sky. Inside, in a sunlit office, an official seated at a large desk inquires, Mr. Rue, what brings you here today? Rakuto Hutu, head of the Maku branch of the Explorers Association, adds, If this is about shining light, we have already spoken on the phone. With unwavering resolve in his glowing red eyes, Rue firmly states, I want to register as an explorer. The association head, Rakuto, offers a silent, thoughtful response. A bead of sweat forms on Rakuto's temple as he brings a hand to his forehead, clearly troubled. He then explains to Rue, Becoming an explorer means walking side by side with death. Besides, you don't even have any abilities. You're not qualified. Rakuto reminds Rue that he was the closest to shining light, and that she would surely want him to live peacefully. Ralph calmly points out that, according to Explorer Association rules, a relative of an explorer can become one regardless of ability. The association head, Rakuto, listens with a somber expression, a prominent scar on his face. Reluctantly, Rakuto instructs an assistant to take Rue, to which Rue quietly expresses his gratitude. As he is escorted out, Rakuto adds from his desk that Rue is always welcome if anything arises. Rue casts one last glance back at Rakuto's office before departing. The frosted glass door slides shut, marking his exit. Rakuto remains seated, a thoughtful and perhaps troubled look on his face as sunlight streams into his office. At a different counter, an association employee hands Rue his new ID, and he offers a simple, Thanks. The newly issued ID card displays Rue's details. Male, age 21, ability, none rank. E. Rue gazes intently at the card, recalling Rakuto's explanation that the person with shining light used a special item to escape. This prompts Rue to insist that Nana mentioned an A-rank dungeon. Rakuto counters, stating that, from what he heard, they were sent to a sealed S-rank dungeon, suggesting Nana might have lied to prevent Rue from worrying. Back in the present, Rue stands with a somber, determined expression, processing this new information. His hand clenches into a fist as a thought. This wasn't some noble sacrifice, crosses his mind with conviction. Pulling the hood of his blue jacket over his head, Rue's face is cast in shadow, his resolve hardening. He walks down a sunlit street, autumn leaves falling around him, vowing, I'll get to the truth no matter what. The scene shifts to the entrance of a D-rank dungeon, where a group of explorers prepares to enter the swirling blue portal. A close-up shows a confident-looking party, ready for challenges within. Inside what appears to be a staging area, one explorer boasts about wanting to be a frontliner, while another scoffs, reminding him that he freaks out at monster corpses. The first retorts that talk is cheap. Rue, with his hood still up, thinks that being in the back is better since there's no monster fighting. He then states, Let's go. The 4 explorers, including Rue at the rear, walk toward the large swirling blue dungeon portal. Inside the dimly lit rocky dungeon, one explorer remarks, It's been 30 years since dungeons appeared, and I've worked for over 10. If anyone is still not used to it, Another asks if anyone can truly get used to this. One explorer nervously suggests they should wait, while another, noticing a newcomer, inquires if he's a new guy. The young man confirms he was assigned a rear guard and is unsure what to do. The seated explorer comments that despite this, the new guys still came, and another clarifies they don't enter until the main party takes down the Guardian. The first explorer dismisses further conversation, saying they'll see once inside, while the spectacle one tells the new guy not to mind him, as he's always like that. The new guy responds with an okay. One of the seated explorers turns his attention to Rue, who is sitting apart, observing. Noticing he's a new face, the explorer asks if he's a rookie. Rue glances over his shoulder and simply replies, "Yeah." This prompts a small surprise, seriously, from the earlier boasting explorer. The spectacled explorer kindly advises Rue that if it's his first time, he should stick with them and follow their lead. But his sentence is cut short by a sudden loud, monstrous cry. All four explorers, including Rue, look up in alarm, startled by the unexpected sound echoing through the dungeon. A terrifying guttural roar erupts from the depths, represented by large red Japanese characters. The explorers gaze apprehensively toward a glowing red chasm from which the sound emanated. One nervous explorer questions whether they should proceed, while a more experienced one retorts that they could perish, questioning if rookie Sato even had training. The spectacled man notes they weren't taught much. Sato, looking anxious, clarifies an incident at the association this year meant there was no training provided. The seasoned explorer and his spectacled companion exchange looks of disbelief and concern at this news. Rue, observing them, realizes that the lack of training wasn't unique to his unconventional entry. As a veteran explorer grumbles about their incompetence, the other muses about staff shortages. An explanation details that explorers usually consist of combat specialists, with only D rank and higher permitted to engage monsters, illustrated by a warrior battling a reptilian beast. The depiction shifts to a support explorer equipped with a pickaxe and medical kit. Clarify this role is for civilians and E-rank individuals. The spectacled explorer remarks that they are essentially part-timers, while the seasoned blonde one begins to offer advice if they wish to contribute. Suddenly, the experienced blonde explorer, peering into a dark passage, urgently summons the others, announcing, "Let's go. We've got work." He leads the support team deeper into the dungeon. They enter a vast cavern to witness a colossal defeated monster and a combat party gathered around a fallen member, one of whom lets out a shocked exclamation. The grim sight of a dead explorer, his body grievously wounded and shield shattered, causes visible distress among the surviving teammates, while the rookie support member recoils. All four support explorers, including Rue, stand aghast at the bloody scene before them. A spiky-haired combat explorer spots Rue using a peculiar rainbow-hued item on their fallen comrade, reacting with surprise. Consumed by rage and fiery red aura, the spiky-haired explorer furiously shouts, "You bastard!" at Rue. A dark-gloved hand suddenly clasps the enraged explorer's arm, halting his advance. A female combatant with pale blue hair, still kneeling, firmly holds back her furious teammate, stating, "He's new. Calm down." The spiky-haired explorer, though still agitated, turns to the support members, questioning their experience and urging them to maintain composure. Meanwhile, the blonde support leader sharply strikes the dazed rookie on the head, ordering him to quit spacing out and get to work as the combatants begin to manage the casualty. The rookie support member, still shaken, questions why he was yelled at when he didn't do anything wrong. Rue, diligently mining, explains that his actions were disrespectful to the deceased and their loved ones. Defensively, the rookie exclaims he didn't mean any harm, as it was his first time witnessing such a scene. Rue, examining a dark crystal, replies that the combatants understood this, which is why he wasn't punished further. Curious, the rookie then asks Rue how he possesses such knowledge despite also being new. Rue, now carrying a box laden with mind crystals, vaguely states he heard it from someone. Rue's expression remains somber and focused as he continues his work in the dimly lit dungeon. In a different setting, possibly a flashback or scene at home, Rue is cleaning when a young woman with cat ears and a red hood informs him, "Big bro, A rookie died yesterday. She elaborates that rookies are being taken along for training, but one overestimated himself and was ambushed, while another support rookie vomited upon seeing the body, with a heavy heart. The cat-eared woman confesses that a friend of the combat explorer who died got enraged and killed the support rookie, admitting she tried to intervene but was too late. Rue turns slightly and remarks that killing someone over such an incident is excessive. The woman agrees, though she doesn't know all the details, adding that combat explorers have always looked down on support staff. Returning to the dungeon scene, the blonde support leader sharply tells Rue to stop dawdling and get to work, reminding him that the monster corpses still require cleanup. Observing Rue efficiently moving boxes, the blonde leader comments, "So you are a rookie." He admits that Rue's composure made him think he was merely pretending, prompting an internal sigh from Rue about the old jerk. The blonde leader explains to the group, "Listen up. To clear a dungeon, you've got to smash the core. It's that thing over there," he continues, illustrating the dynamic image of a warrior fighting a beast. "But to break the core, you first have to take down the guardian. No matter what monster it is, their body only lasts 30 minutes after death." A glowing red crystal is shown as the text clarifies this point. But for guardians, the countdown starts after the core is destroyed. Standing near a monstrous corpse, the rookie explorer asks, "Why is that?" "Monster corpses are worthless." The spectacled explorer chimes in, explaining that you can't bring them out of the dungeon, so obviously they're worthless. An array of glowing items, including a sword, shield, and book, appears as the explanation continues. But when you beat a guardian, there's a chance you get weapons or gear. If you're lucky, maybe even a skill book. A shining question mark silhouette emphasizes that rare items sometimes drop as well. The blonde leader then states, "If you care about loot, ask the combat guys." The dungeon closes 30 minutes after the core is destroyed. Let's move. The support team is seen near the dungeon portal, with one member draping a cloth over what appears to be the deceased explorer. As they prepare to leave, the spectacled explorer tells the others, "We'll deliver the loot. You guys can go home. Your pay will be deposited within 3 days." He advises that just because support doesn't fight doesn't mean it's safe, suggesting self-training for longer life. As they exit the dungeon, the blonde leader tells a rookie that running fast means surviving longer. The rookie thinks, "Give me a break. I thought this job would be easy." Rue, with his hood still up, watches the other support members walk away under the twilight sky. His hand clenches as he internally resolves, "I've got to get stronger." 2 days later, at the association building, Rakuto asks Rue, "How was the dungeon?" With a smile, he adds, "Didn't the treasure tempt you?" Rue, still hooded, replies, "Weird and dangerous." With a serious expression, he states, "Nothing is worth risking my life for." Rakuto listens to Rue's words thoughtfully. Looking toward a door labeled training room, he remarks, "You and your sister really are alike." They both stand in a vast, brightly lit training hall. In profile, Rakuto tells Rue, "It's strange. With Shining Light's legacy, you could live comfortably forever. So what's your goal?" Rue, with a determined look, replies, "I can't just slack off living off Nana's inheritance. I'm sure you've heard all the rumors that I'm trash mooching off my sister." Rue expresses his frustration about people whispering behind his back. Rakuto mentions that while Shining Light's death is a secret for now, people will eventually realize Rue is the sole heir. He tells Rue, "It's good you want to get stronger on your own," then adds, "There's someone I want you to meet." A very muscular older man with white hair and a red tank top appears, calling out, "Hey, old man." Toward Rakuto, the muscular man, introduced as Charlie List, 37, an instructor at the Maku City Explorer Association, stands with arms crossed, asking Rakuto, "What did you drag me out here for?" Rakuto introduces him to Rue. "This is Charlie, the mentor I found for you. He may look rough, but he's the strongest in our branch." Rue internally notes, "Whoa, that body," while Charlie demurs, "Don't kid me. I'm just a thug." Charlie leans in, tilting Rue's chin up with his large hand, and asks Rakuto, "You're making me babysit this brat?" Rakuto calmly informs a now visibly surprised Charlie that Rue is Shining Light's brother. Charlie, with a sigh, concedes, "All right, I get it, but this is the last time." As Rue stands silently beside him, he dismisses Rakuto with a curt, "Get lost. Watching you makes me sick." Charlie then instructs Rue, "Follow me, kid." Rakuto expresses his reliance on the instructor in the spacious training hall. Charlie begins, "Hey, kid," to which Rue introduces himself. "I'm Rue." Charlie sharply retorts, "I know. Don't interrupt me, brat." He directly accuses Rue. "So you used the Elite Explorer air privilege to get here?" Rue defiantly asks, "Got a problem with that?" With a skeptical look, Charlie presses further, "You sure you weren't tricked? Do you even know what that privilege means?" Rue, with a somber expression, quietly affirms, "I know." A panel explains that explorers are ranked from S to E, but those surpassing S rank are known as the 7 Stars, featuring an image of Nana among them. The narrative clarifies that elite explorers receive top benefits, and their families can inherit some upon death, provided an heir was designated while the explorer was alive, accompanied by an illustration of a scroll and seal. It further details that while inheritance is common, the rare privilege allows the heir to become an explorer without tests and to select one association training, offering a chance to grow stronger. Charlie, arms crossed, tells Rue, "If you understand, then make your choice." This prompts a confused Rue to ask, "Choose what?" An unspoken tension hangs in the air between them, punctuated by ellipses. Charlie scratches his head and explains, "Listen up, this is important. There are 3 types of training: attack, defense, and speed." He adds that since Rue probably can't picture from just words, he'll show him. As a training robot activates, Charlie demonstrates attack training by delivering a powerful kick that shatters a training dummy. Next, he showcases defense training by calmly enduring punches from 2 robotic opponents with his arms crossed. Finally, he illustrates speed training by nimbly dodging multiple beams of light. With the demonstrations complete, Charlie, still arms crossed and surrounded by the aftermath, asks Rue, "Which one do you want to be?" Rue stands silently amidst the destroyed training equipment, contemplating Charlie's question. With a resolute expression in his red eyes, he firmly states his choice: defense. The scene shifts to a sun-dappled park, focusing on a foot in a blue sneaker taking a step. Rue is shown jogging to the park, already looking winded and struggling. He soon comes to a halt, bending over and gasping for breath on the paved path. Later, feeling utterly sick, Rue wonders if this grueling training will truly be beneficial. Back in the training hall, Charlie suddenly claps a startled Rue on the shoulder, declaring, "Your choice of defense? Not bad. You're pretty smart." The instructor elaborates that his peers typically pick defense to protect themselves or opt for speed to have more options for running or attacking. As Rue internally acknowledges Charlie's immense power, Charlie somberly adds, "That's why they all died." A bead of sweat forms on Rue's temple as he reacts in shock to Charlie's stark revelation. Charlie stands with his arms crossed, a moment of silence passing between him and Rue. Rue tentatively speaks up, and Charlie advises him that he can decide his own training routine, so he should focus on building up his body. When Rue questions if Charlie isn't going to train him, the instructor grins, stating it's no good if he gets winded after just a little running. Charlie forcefully claps Rue on the back, making him cough up blood, and yells at him to train harder. Wiping blood from his mouth, Rue looks up with determination and simply says, "Got it." Charlie holds up 2 fingers, informing Rue, "You have 2 months. If you don't reach a minimum level by then..." Looming over Rue, Charlie sternly declares, "I don't care if you're Shining Light's brother. I won't look after you." Later, Rue is seen exhausted and sweating profusely during an outdoor run, pausing for breath. With renewed resolve, he thinks, "Guess I'll run a bit more," and continues jogging to the park. A calendar page showing July 20th flips by as Rue is depicted doing sit-ups in his living room, indicating time has passed. Later, Rue sits at his computer in a dimly lit room, researching information on the screen. The screen displays a dungeon monster investigation record for a creature named Dog Dumbai, a mythic S-rank beast with various abilities and extremely high physical defense. Looking at the monster stats, Rue thinks, mythic beasts are this strong, huh? No wonder, Nana. This is why you were so stubborn about keeping me away from being an explorer and from dungeons, isn't it? A hand accepts a bag of goods from a vendor, accompanied by a thanks for your business message. Two acquaintances observe Rue, one noting his frequent meat purchases and daily visits to a high-end rest station for recovery. As Rue walks by, one of the men grumbles resentfully about him living well despite having no abilities. A calendar page turns to August 10th, showing Rue diligently running up steps in the park as part of his training. The calendar advances to August 15th, depicting Rue performing pull-ups with intense effort in an outdoor setting. 1 month later, a significantly more muscular Rue, wearing a cap, is shown sweating, his physique transformed by training. Mr. Kuji stands at Rue's doorway, looking surprised and somewhat concerned as he calls out Rue's name. Rue, wiping sweat with a towel, casually invites Mr. Kuji in. Inside, as Rue pours a drink, Mr. Kuji remarks on his changed appearance, admitting he almost didn't recognize him due to his recent training. Mr. Kuji looks thoughtfully at Rue, taking in his transformation. While Rue pours tea, Mr. Kuji tentatively asks, "Hey, Rue, when is Nana coming back?" Rue replies that, according to the association, she's on an overseas mission and won't return for a while. As Mr. Kuji sips his drink, he says, "I see." He then reminds Rue that they've known each other a long time and encourages him to speak up if something is troubling him. He points out Rue's recent increased spending, noting that many people can't afford basic necessities, and that Rue has been visiting the rest station daily. Rue, taking a sip from his cup, casually asks if Mr. Kuji is worried he might get robbed. Mr. Kuji replies that as long as Nana is around, that won't happen. However, he then reveals, "But I heard something bad happened to one of the 7 stars." Rue's eyes glow with an ominous red light as he turns to face him and inquires where he heard that. Mr. Kuji explains he overheard some A-rank explorers discussing it, adding that the association wants to keep it quiet, but people are trying to find out what occurred. Looking at a photo of Nana on the wall, Mr. Kuji earnestly asks Rue to tell him honestly how Nana is doing. Rue, with a slight smile, poses a rhetorical question. "If something had happened to Nana, I wouldn't be able to live like this, would I?" A moment of silence hangs between them as they sit at the table, the framed photograph of Rue and Nana visible on the wall. Mr. Kuji, looking somewhat relieved, remarks that he guesses Rue and Nana have always cared more about each other than themselves, apologizing for his strange question. Rue replies it's fine, and thanks him for his concern. Rue then suggests Mr. Kuji stay for lunch since it's already noon, but Kuji declines, saying he still has things to do and maybe next time. After Kuji leaves and the door closes with a soft click, Rue stands alone in his entryway. Later, Rue's phone rings, displaying the caller ID, idiot number 3, at 7:32. He answers the call, and the woman on the other end remarks that he finally decided to call her. Rue states he has something to ask her, prompting her to retort that she called him 45 times in the last 2 months without him picking up, and now he's the one calling. She asks if his call is about the 7 stars, leading Rue to question what she knows with a sharp glint in his eyes. She cryptically suggests he ask the association, then adds that depending on his attitude, she might tell him before abruptly hanging up with a beep. Annoyed, Rue wonders why she hung up, as the woman warns him that if he says anything weirder, she'll ask his older sister. She then reveals that one of the 7 stars died, but they haven't been able to identify who. Wrapped in a towel and looking out over a cityscape at night, the woman muses that the association is desperately trying to hide it, which is expected, as even one of the 7 stars getting injured would draw national attention. She then questions if Rue is asking her instead of his sister, directly asking, "Is something wrong with Nana?" revealing a large dark mark on her back. Startled, Rue exclaims that if she contacts his sister, he'll... The woman, now depicted as a chibi character wrapped in a towel, furiously shouts that she was wrong for thinking about setting him up with her older sister. Back in his room, Rue, wearing a cap, looks at the framed photo of him and Nana, realizing someone is investigating her death. His hand gently touches the photo as he wonders if it's a power struggle or if they are connected to Nana's demise. Later, Rue sits patiently on a bench in the sunlit training hall, waiting. Charlie is visible in the distance and approaches with a slight smile, uttering a simple, well. Standing before Charlie, a noticeably more muscular Rue asks, "So do I pass?" Charlie remarks, "You've changed so much in 2 months, you're hardly recognizable." Stroking his beard and looking Rue over, Charlie confirms he barely passes and suggests they get straight to the point. Charlie informs Rue he has good news and bad news. The good news is there's only one type of training he can receive for now, prompting Rue to ask about the bad news. A close-up shows Charlie's grinning face as he explains that Rue's training consists of... Charlie forcefully declares that Rue's training involves getting beaten up, delivering a powerful blow that sends Rue reeling. Rue is sent flying across the training hall by the sheer force of Charlie's attack, crashing heavily in the distance. Standing over the winded Rue, Charlie instructs him to remember this level of power, stating that withstanding it means passing the training. A surprised Rue questions if that's all, and Charlie clarifies that the training's aim is to build resistance, ensuring longevity regardless of damage taken. He elaborates that the survival principle holds true both within and outside dungeons, asserting that only survivors are truly strong. With a resolute expression, Rue internalizes a harsh truth. One cannot be considered strong if they are dead. Charlie then directs Rue to spar with a training robot, permitting dodges but forbidding any counterattacks before announcing he's going to sleep. Rue begins evading the swift, powerful strikes of the activated training robot in the hall. After some time, a panting Rue kneels in frustration, wondering if he is meant to only keep running away from the robot's onslaught. However, a steely look enters Rue's eyes as he realizes that retaliating would undermine the entire purpose of the specific endurance training. In a blue shirt, Rue prepares for the training robot's incoming punch. A spectral image of Charlie materializes behind him, clarifying that the training's aim is to build resistance. While Rue wonders that's it, his determined red eye reflects a newfound understanding. Gritting his teeth, he crosses his arms to absorb the robot's blow, realizing, I can't just dodge. I have to take it all. From an elevated position, Charlie watches Rue withstand the robot's assault in the spacious, sunlit training hall. A slight smile plays on Charlie's lips as he thinks, You finally get it, huh? Internally, he explains that this approach hones both spirit and physique, noting that defense training simplicity often leads to it being undervalued. Rue persistently deflects the robot's barrage, while Charlie's voiceover suggests that, in time, people will grasp that defense transcends mere physical power. Charlie leans back in chair, his phone chiming with a Dharma Hall caller ID and a rather flamboyant ringtone. Picking up the call, an annoyed Charlie grumbles about his lack of sleep over the past week and expresses frustration at being assigned more tasks. The voice on the line reveals that an S-rank dungeon has manifested in Mizuyasu village, making Charlie's eyes widen with alarm. The voice continues, explaining that most of Mizuyasu village has already been swallowed by the swirling blue vortex of the S-rank dungeon. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content. Feel free to leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts or suggestions. If you want to stay updated on our latest uploads, click the notification bell icon. And hey, why not check out some of our other videos popping up on the screen right now? If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It really means a lot. Peace.